His State of the State address, Governor Andrew Cuomo laid out his plans for New York State, and today he's going to address the state budget, basically how to pay for all the improvements he's looking to make. Pat Bailey is live from our Albany newsroom now with more on what we can expect from the governor today, and I assume he's got to have some kind of a slashing mechanism built in here, Pat.
Or a cap on spending, Liz. As you mentioned, 2 weeks ago, the governor unveiled what many called a relatively aggressive agenda for 2013. And as you said, we will now see how he expects to pay for it here. Two big areas I expect to see a focus on today are schools and Sandy. Of his entire State of the State agenda, the governor's public schools initiative was perhaps the most aggressive, at least financially. Cuomo really pushed for extending school days for all children, starting at pre-K, making that a full day of classes. He also said that he would like to see an extended full day for all classes, all other students, extending either the school day or the school year. The governor also wants to pay teachers with a high achievement an extra $15,000 per year as an incentive. One more note on schools. Aid to districts is expected to increase on average 3.5% across the board in 2013. Now, in terms of Hurricane Sandy, expect the governor to talk significantly about the funding that the federal government allocated in the last couple of weeks and to give us an idea of what that money will not cover and what the state may be on the hook for when it comes to rebuilding, especially down in New York City. And remember, the governor started his State of the State saying, quote, no new taxes this year. And this will be the governor's third budget of his administration. He started with a $10 billion deficit a few years ago. He all but closed it in 2 years. Coming into this proposal, the state was facing a $1 billion deficit, as you mentioned. However, Sandy did throw a wrench in that. A state source tells me that the deficit now is more like $1.5 to $1.8 billion. I will be live tweeting the budget proposal starting at 2 o'clock today. You can follow me if you want to follow along live at CBS 6 Pat. Liz?
You know, Pat, if there is no slashing mechanism and he's talking about capping, that really doesn't get rid of that billion and a half deficit. What do we expect him to do about that?
Well, a cap on spending is now being reported here in the last few minutes. A lot of people citing sources within the Cuomo's administration saying that he will cap spending at 2%, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it. This is a governor that has touted his 2% property tax cap for local governments. He said it can work. Now we're hearing that he will cap spending at 2%. Spending overall may go up, and that may be a little confusing. Because of that Sandy aid that's coming in, spending could be going up overall, but that's because of federal government coming in. But many people now believe the governor will cap state spending at 2%. Of course, we'll find out much more at 2 o'clock when he unveils his budget proposal.
Yeah, it sure will be interesting. All right, Pat, thanks so much. We'll look forward to your reports later on today.
All right.